On a chilling night in 1897, in the rustic heart of West Virginia, a tale so eerie began to unravel. In the quaint town where everyone knows your name, a blacksmith named Erasmus Shue was hammering out his daily grind. The rhythmic clang of metal on metal echoed through his shop as the setting sun painted the sky in hues of gold and crimson. Erasmus, a man in the prime of his life, was known for his hard work and quiet demeanor, but there was more to him than met the eye. You see, Erasmus had recently wed a young woman named Zona. Their whirlwind romance had been the talk of the town. Zona, with her enchanting smile and kind heart, had fallen head over heels for the older blacksmith. Despite the disapproving glances from her mother, Mary Jane, Zona had decided to tie the knot with Erasmus, believing in the power of love. Their home, a modest dwelling nestled near the outskirts of town, was a silent witness to their lives. The house, with its creaky stairs and drafty rooms, held an air of foreboding that was hard to shake off. But in the heart of rural America, one learned to live with such things. One day, as the winter wind howled outside his shop, Erasmus sent his young helper to check on Zona. The task seemed simple enough, but little did the boy know. He was about to step into a scene straight from a horror tale. The house was eerily silent, the only noise being the soft whistle of the wind creeping through the cracks in the walls. The helper found Zona at the foot of their stairs, lifeless, her eyes vacant. The sight was enough to send chills down even the bravest of spines. In the blink of an eye, the town's simple blacksmith and his young bride became the center of a chilling mystery. The house that once echoed with the laughter of a young couple was now shrouded in silence and dread. The nightmare, it seemed, had just begun. While the doctor hastily attributed Zona's death to pregnancy complications, Mary Jane, Zona's mother, was not convinced. Mary Jane knew her daughter. She knew Zona was strong, vivacious, and full of life. Pregnancy complications? No. Something about that diagnosis didn't sit right with her. There was a gnawing suspicion in her gut, a feeling of dread that was impossible to shake off. Mary Jane was no stranger to the harsh realities of life in rural West Virginia in the late 1890s. She had seen her fair share of hardships, but this was different. This was her only child, her baby girl, lying cold and lifeless at the foot of her own stairs. And the husband, Erasmus, the man who had swept Zona off her feet, was he really as innocent as he claimed to be? Driven by a mother's instinct and a gut feeling that was as chilling as the West Virginia winter, Mary Jane did the only thing she knew how to do in times of distress. She prayed. But these were not prayers for solace or peace. These were desperate, pleading prayers for the truth. She prayed to her daughter, to Zona's spirit, asking her to break through the veil that separates the living from the dead, to reveal what really happened on that fateful night. Night after night, Mary Jane continued her prayers. She would sit in Zona's room, surrounded by her daughter's things, the air heavy with the scent of her perfume, and she would pray. She would ask Zona to come to her, to tell her the truth, no matter how horrifying it might be. And then, one night, it happened. The air chilled, the room darkened, and a figure appeared. It was Zona, her daughter, her baby girl, standing there in front of her. And then, out of the silence, Zona's ghost appeared, painting a picture of horror and betrayal. And with her appearance, the eerie tale of the Greenbrier Ghost took a turn that no one could have predicted. Like a scene ripped straight from a horror movie, Zona's ghost revealed a chilling truth. Picture this. Mary Jane with her heart heavy with sorrow, her mind filled with suspicion, praying not for peace, not for solace, but for the otherworldly. She sought the truth from beyond the grave, from her own daughter's spirit. What unfolded next was something straight out of a chilling ghost story. Zona's specter emerged from the shadows, a spectral figure in the dim light, with a tale as eerie as her appearance. Her words, those spectral whispers, echoed through the silence, painting a horrifying picture that no mother should ever have to envision. It was the chilling tale of her final moments. Zona's ghost, with an ethereal voice that could freeze your blood, accused the man she had loved, the man she had married, of her murder. Erasmus Shue, the seemingly innocent blacksmith, the man who had won her heart, was not the man he appeared to be. The ghost of Zona recounted a nightmarish story. Erasmus, the man she had shared her life with, had turned into a monster one fateful dinner night. In a fit of rage, he had snapped her neck, ending her life prematurely, burying her dreams with her. This revelation, as horrifying as it was, provided Mary Jane with the answers she sought. The gut feeling she had harbored, the suspicion that had gnawed at her, were validated by her daughter's spectral confession. But this wasn't just a mother-daughter heart-to-heart. Oh no. This was a ghostly revelation, a spectral confession that was about to turn the wheels of justice. Zona's apparition had not only revealed the truth, but it also handed Mary Jane the weapon she needed to fight for justice. The darkness of the night was pierced by the light of truth. Mary Jane, now armed with her daughter's ghostly confession, was ready to take on the world. She was ready to bring her daughter's murderer to justice, to ensure that he paid for his heinous crime. Armed with this spectral confession, Mary Jane was ready to seek justice. The stage was set for a courtroom drama like no other, a trial that would go down in history, where the main witness was not among the living, but from the world beyond. The courtroom buzzed with anticipation and disbelief as Erasmus faced the charge of murder. Picture this: a blacksmith, strong and burly, shackled in iron, the same metal he once masterfully shaped in his shop. Now, he was on the anvil, hammered by the weight of a crime he vehemently denied. The evidence, as it were, was chilling. A broken neck, signs of strangulation, and a ghostly accusation. The prosecutor presented the cold, hard facts, each one hitting the air with the weight of a falling anvil. The town's doctor, who'd initially declared Zona's death a tragic mishap, now had to eat his words. The autopsy report was clear, and it was damning. Zona hadn't just fallen down the stairs. The thought of a ghost bearing witness in a court of law was beyond bizarre. But in this case, it was the linchpin. The spectral visitation wasn't just a story. It was a haunting testimony from beyond the grave. The community was in turmoil. Erasmus, the once respected blacksmith, was now the town pariah. Whispers of murderer echoed in his wake, and looks of suspicion replaced the once friendly nods. The trial wasn't just about justice for Zona. It was a chilling reminder of the hidden horrors that could lurk beneath the surface of a seemingly idyllic rural life. As the trial wore on, the tension was palpable. The jury, a collection of local men and women, had the unenviable task of deciding Erasmus's fate. The evidence was piling up, the ghostly testimony looming large, and the community's demand for justice was deafening. The moment of truth arrived. The jury filed in, their faces serious, their verdict sealed in an envelope as cold as the grave. The court held its breath as the judge broke the seal, his eyes scanning the contents before raising his gaze to meet Erasmus. And then, the verdict was out. Erasmus was guilty. In a twist of fate, Erasmus was convicted and sentenced, not by tangible evidence, but by a ghost's testimony. A verdict that shook the small town of Greenbrier to its very core. The beloved blacksmith, the man everyone thought they knew, was a murderer, and his crime was brought to light by the spectral confession of his victim. Erasmus was sent to the big house, the stone walls of Moundsville Penitentiary closing in around him. The once bustling blacksmith who worked under the glow of the setting sun was now confined to a cold, harsh cell. The sound of his hammer against metal replaced by the clanging of iron bars. For Erasmus, the nightmare had just begun, but the nightmare didn't last long. Within those grim walls, Erasmus met his end, taking any lingering secrets with him to his grave. Some say it was the guilt that killed him. Others claim it was the ghost of Zona, exacting her final vengeance. Regardless of the cause, Erasmus Shue was no more. And what of Zona, the Greenbrier Ghost? Well, her tale didn't fade into the obscurity of forgotten lore. No, her story lives on, passed down through generations. A chilling testament of love turned sour and a mother's unwavering faith. Zona's spectral figure is said to still haunt the hills of Greenbrier, her voice whispering in the wind, a reminder of the tragedy that once unfolded. Yet, it's not just a tale of horror. It's also a story of justice, served in the most uncanny way. It reminds us that even when the living fail to see the truth, the departed might step in to set the record straight. A ghost serving as the key witness in a murder trial, now that's a plot twist no one saw coming. In the end, the Greenbrier ghost story remains etched in the annals of history. A tale that blurs the boundaries between the living and the ghostly realms. A narrative that leaves a cold chill running down your spine. And a story that forces you to question the reality you know. And so, the tale of the Greenbrier Ghost remains, a chilling reminder of the thin line between the living and the ghostly realms.